Welcome, everyone. This is Holland Hubert speaking, calling in from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a sophomore at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, majoring in biology on the pre-medical track. I'm an alumni member of the Patriots Nesby Junior Chapter and want to welcome you to the Patriots Nesby Junior Chapter podcast. Let's keep it moving on the podcast. Sponsored by SA Tech, Northrop Grumman, and the Richmond Foundation. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Myles Davenport. Mr. Myles Davenport works for the Washington, D.C. government and wants to start a nonprofit centered around recruiting Black men into the health field. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Holland.
Of course. So before we get started, can you tell us how you got involved in Patriots Technology Training Center programs? Because I hear you have a twin brother and a sister that were part of the program as well.
Yes, so back in middle school, actually, I guess start with my father. My father, he's an engineer. He went to school for mechanical engineering, and so he's done lots of different. His career has been centered around engineering and STEM, and he really wanted his children to get involved into the career. And he came across the Patriots Technology Training Program, and that's how I became a part of the training program. And the programs that I participated in Patriots was the robotics competition, and that was sort of my first sort of real life introduction into STEM.
Wow. And what was your brother a part of and your sister with Patriots as well?
We were all a part of the robotics program.
Okay. How did you guys like that?
It was pretty fun. The team that we were with had unfortunately, like, they had many changes throughout the year, so because I was so young, I didn't really have the opportunity to get involved. But as I got older, I was able to, get my hands a little bit more dirty and actually start to understand more about the different things involving robotics and technology.
Yes, I agree completely. So lots of times we have a support system that helps us reach our goals and support us throughout life. How important has it been for you to have your dad help you and your brother to help build that roadmap for you?
I'll say with my brother, it's been pretty interesting having a twin brother or having a sibling near an age in general. It's pretty interesting because I feel like we have this human nature to compete against our peers. And so, waking up every day with someone who is just as energetic as I am, trying to better themselves, we both sort of push each other to be great. But my dad also, he instilled in us, hard work, diligence, and especially education. So with his passion for engineering and STEM, although it wasn't necessarily what I envisioned myself doing in the future, it definitely instilled like a lot of work ethic in me to do the best that I can.
Wow. And so seeing that you were involved with the robotics team while you were at Patriots, what led you to pursue the health field?
So I've always been involved in sports as a young kid, even though, like, I had multiple extracurricular activities, and Patriots was just one of them. But I'd always played sports, and when it was nearing time to graduate high school, I wasn't really quite sure exactly what career field I wanted to get into and what to study in school. Of course, my dad was pushing me to go into STEM fields, but over the years, I didn't really feel too fond of that idea. But I had a good friend um, who had graduated a year ahead of me, and but I felt like we had a lot of similarities, so I sort of just mirrored what they were interested in. And once I found out like what they were pursuing in college, I started to kind of look into that career, and didn't necessarily pan out directly with exactly what they're doing, but I found my own sort of um, footing in public health in general.
Okay. And so what have you done to prepare yourself for that health related field?
So again, it kind of goes back to my dad pushing me to pursue um, things that will enrich my career experience. So as a young kid, my dad was always teaching me to, um, if I'm going to accept a job, let it be a job that is going to propel me into the next step in my life. So I started off working at health clinics, and gaining experience and understanding of how healthcare works from there. And it just progressed throughout the years.
Okay. And so, as we know, the health field is something that's very time consuming and things like that. So, how have you managed to take time for yourself while also pursuing what you love?
It's very difficult, but thankfully for me, I didn't necessarily hop right into going to university from high school. I started off at community college, so it gave me some more flexibility in terms of like how I can manage my time. And so I worked part time while I was in school, and um, that helped out a lot.
Okay. And so, I hear that you're interested in starting a nonprofit. So, can you explain to me a little bit more about that and what the mission is?
Sure. So throughout my academics and learning a lot about healthcare, there wasn't really a lot of people who looked like me in the field, especially in school. And I felt like it would be great to have someone like me, or if I were to do it all over again, it would have been a great experience if I had someone like me that I could look up to as a mentor, that I can, envision myself um, 5 years from now in the past. So my idea is to create somewhat of a mentoring program to encourage men of color, especially Black men, to pursue careers in public health since we are a very small minority in the career.
Wow, that is amazing. And so, for those that are interested in either pursuing a health related field or even starting their own nonprofit, do you have any advice for them?
Um, I would definitely say just go for it. Definitely just um, think about what it is you want to do and just do it. You may not necessarily be able to build a team right away, but if you envision it and you start putting action towards that, eventually the people that can help you achieve that goal will come along and help you.
Wow. And so, my last question for you today, because I'm genuinely interested myself, is I hear that you work for the Washington, D.C. government. So, how are you able to land that position or just get involved with the government doing what you do?
It's been a roller coaster. So, like I said, I started off working at a health clinic, which specifically was like a physical therapy outpatient clinic. Um, then I gained some experience working at a pharmacy, and then I was able to gain federal employment with the CDC. And so it's a combination of different experiences working for the federal government and just different healthcare, public health related experiences helped me to form a resume that um, helped me gain this experience, achieve this experience in this position. So um, I enjoy it right now. It's been really great so far, and I just look forward to what the future holds.
Well, thank you so much. It seems like you've given us such good advice, and it's just been a really enjoyable conversation.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Of course. So, once again, we want to thank him so much for joining us on this podcast. I hope you all enjoyed this interview today. I want to thank every one of our listeners for jumping on the Let's Keep It Moving on the podcast. We must also thank SA Tech, Northrop Grumman, and the Richmond Foundation for sponsoring this podcast. If you would like to hear this podcast or share it with your friends, please go to the Patriots Nesby Jr. website, www.patriots-ttc.org. Please send us an email at podcast@patriots-ttc.org and let us know what you think about our show. Until our next show, let's keep it moving on the Patriots Nesby Jr. podcast. This is Holland signing off.